going on? It's Winslow. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if it's your first time, hope you learned something. Hope you enjoy yourself. Subscribe, all that stuff, if that works for you. So, first things first, Patreon members saw it first. If you want to see these videos, things like this, way ahead of anyone else, click that link in the description. Throws a little bit extra support my way. You get some things like this video, other tunes, mixes, whatever else, and the Discord server is a reward. So, a little bit ago, a couple days ago, I got asked by a good friend of mine, Harry, about how I approach swing. And basically, this is a super long write-up. If you want to check Patreon, it's a free post. It's, I called it Swing 101. Where I just outline how I do all of it, how I do everything swing related. And in this video, I'm going to show you just that. So, more or less, what swing is a rhythm, a groove. It's moving, it's shifting notes forward in time. So, in this case, drum and bass, you are shifting your 16th notes. In halftime or slower tempos, it might be 8th note swing, 16th note. You can have both. It goes from a straight 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and to a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. It alters the rhythm, makes it a little bit skippy swing. I mean, think jazz. It's that kind of feeling. But within the drum and bass context, it adds a lot of groove, a lot of feeling. Like most of the tunes we know as rollers, whether it is like the intelligent jump up, Serum, King of the Rollers kind of rollers, or the old, think Marcus and Alex, Liquid Funk rollers like that. And that is the same ilk. So let's look into the DAW and let me show you. So first things first, when I approach that swing, this is a GreenGreyBlue, by the way. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. So I'll come up here. It looks different in every DAW, but mine has Studio One has percentages of swing. So you have 20, as far as 16th go, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. 100% swing is basically triplets. It's like the first and last triplet. That's too much swing. That's like garage level of swing. For this tune, I went 60%. I'll normally do about 40 to 80. I actually thought I did 80 with this one. I probably tried it, but it was a little too jarring. But yeah, if we dig in, you can see how the grid is slightly offset. If I go for straight 16ths, you see that one and that one moved if we get a little closer. So this line and this line, straight 16ths. If I go 60%, now they moved over, okay? And that's all you're doing is adding it. In Logic, it's like swing A, B, C, D, Cubase, I'm not sure. FL Studio doesn't even let you. I used to, but it was like a command, and I put shuffle like Shift C or whatever. It doesn't actually show the grid. Every DAW has a different way, so just know in your DAW it probably does it a certain way. So first things first, your main beats, your big beats. You have kick and snare, more or less. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your main beats, your quarter notes within this context. So here's that. So your one, remember, you're not swinging 8th notes or quarter, you're swinging 16th notes. So quarter note, it's on big beat 1. This is on the and of 3. This other kick, still straight, dead on the grid. Kick and snare, or snares, claps, whatever you use, are on 2 and 3, or 2 and 4, okay? But you got those and, the 1 E and your 16th notes, however you count them, certain music schools go with the Takadimi, and then, or there's 1 E and or 1 Lali, 2, something like that. 1 E and, that's my thing. All right. So you have your straight, right? Big beats, no swing there, right? But then in percussion, you will have it. So the actual VSTs in there, so I stuck the stem in there for the warm break. But you can see I chopped it up, and if my zooming won't stop being stupid, I chopped it up. It's on the grid, and it's on the swung grid. Okay, so now if we listen to it, just the horn by itself, it's not straight. Now if I go in, make the 16th straight, and then chop. Actually, what do I need to do first? Put it back on the grid so I can make sure I chop it correctly, and then boom, 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 boom. Okay, so 16th, 16th. This is the and, so an eighth, more or less, in this sense. So I'm going straight groove, straight 16ths. I'm moving them. See, now it's straight. But if I move them back, I shift them forward. I swing them. Here we go. So it's like, it's instead of 1 and 2, it's 1 and 2. It's like, kind of like, it anticipates the beat. It helps move it forward. And if you loop that, and then let's add more. Is this loop working? Yeah, so here's that, sandy shaker or thing. And it's also on the swung grid. So let's bring that grid back so visually you see what I'm doing. It just adds that groove. Because let me go in and straighten this again. If you straighten all this groove, right? And then I come in here, make sure it's locked 16ths to the grid. It's just a different feeling. Now if I add kick and snare in, right? Kick, clap, whatever. Then you'll be able to hear it off of those. So here we go. This is straight 16ths. Like it's okay, but it has a completely different feel now. But if I swing it, so put those back in, nudge these, make sure that grid's right, nudge these back over, you get the skippy feel. So it's subtle, but when you build on the swing, it gets more than subtle. So if you go to a different part of the track where I add another shaker and things, like this is also swung. So these little chops. All right, so maybe up the levels of swing, not the levels, just the layers that contribute to it. So now we're at this section, right? And all these layers are doing the exact same, locked in, 60% swing. Like sometimes I have to where it's like, if you look at the grid, some parts are a little bit left, a little bit right, and there's one like right on in these. It's all the starts of the sounds are locked right in. If we come here to this section, you'll hear it with the shaker. This shaker from Snooze Button Roller was already swung. Yep. All the starts are locked to the grid. A little bit of panning helps to accentuate that rhythm. These ghost kicks help anticipate the big beats. So like it hits right before the clap or right before the main kick, which is like, it gives you that forward momentum, that feeling. It's a difference between just like bobbing your head because it's nice and like kind of doing the wavy like groove thing. And when you're on the dance floor, it's a difference, The soulful style, it helps. But if it's like, I don't know, something a bit more plain, I don't know. It's better to me. It feels more organic, more human-like to have a bit of swing, a bit of off. Like even though it's robotically more or less swung, it's better than, in my preference, than like a straight, jump up, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch, two-step groove. It's like boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, ch. It's like that. It makes you want to move. Or maybe you just like straight boring drums. But if you're in drum and bass, if you like Alex Perez, you like swing. If you like Caliber, you like swing. If you like Kazra and the Critical Crew, some of them, you like swing. It's all over. And again, it can be subtle, 20%, just a little nudge, or it can be like a long nudge. It can be loose, it can be tight. It's all about the groove you want. So it's mostly drums. So that's the drums right now. Up the level. This is still Swing 101, so I'm not going to go nuts. But golden rule. Big camera so you can hear this. Golden rule. If one thing swings, everything swings. You can't have, and you have to more or less have the same swing rate all the time. You can't just go mix 20, 60, 80. The groove will be off. It'll be a mess. At drum and bass tempos, it's really fast. It's messy. It's like you want a train wreck in your own track. It's like clanging, but in the tune and not while you're DJing. You know what I mean? So if we look down here at the bass line, then we see, and if you just look at the MIDI, you can't really see it. So let me make this an instrument track so we can just look at the MIDI. All right. It's actually, in this case, there's nothing really off the grid. So, but it accents it because it touches the main beats 1 and 3, and the ands. So not the swung beats. So if you listen to the just bass line by itself, and that's straight, that's swung, not swung at all. But if you add the drums, you hear how it's marking certain beats. So it's like it's marking the kick, the snare, little shuffles in there that are on the eighths. And because the kick is slightly later than when some of these bassline hits hit, it's very anticipatory in groove. Oh, okay, so like this G hits on the swing. That's why you feel it like you feel it leading to 1. You want that feeling, because if you think about funk, like James Brown and stuff like in the 70s, the funk is felt on the 1. So it's like whatever happens in the middle doesn't really matter as long as you land on 1, right? So 2, 3, 4, 1. So in this case, it's like 1, 1, 1. Yeah, you get that feeling in a sense. Who's it? What Bootsy Collins, like, I don't care what you do in between after the first beat, as long as you land on the 1, that's funk. Yeah, that's kind of it. So it's mostly straight, but that last note is a little bit earlier. It's on the swung grid. It's so it kind of anticipates that and of 4, and it anticipates because it leads like into big beat 1. So again, your swing has to tie together. If that didn't line up, it would be disgusting. I don't even want to straighten it all out so you can hear it, because it's gross. And if you want to accent the swing, some of these pitch up. So like, I mean, again, that anticipatory feeling, if you have like, like whereas it's climbing, right? And it's climbing to the pitch. So if we hear like, yeah, like, so if you don't take anything from this video, just know you swing one thing, swing everything. All right. So if you go into like the melodic samples, even those are like chopped to the swung grid. So I won't go into the actual sample because it's kind of illegal, but in a sense. But if we look at the chops, which there aren't a whole, oh yeah, they are. So even those cuts happen on the swung grid and the rhythm within. So let me hear it with take all the filter. So it isn't da 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 da. It's da 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 da. It's like a constant yearning for what's next, and that accents with a swing, with everything. It's all rhythmically very tight. Telling you, it's about that feel. Like if it was straight, I wouldn't be like locked in. If it was straight, I'd just be like, okay, cool. But because it's swung and everything is very tightly wound rhythmically, you get that feel. Like, it takes a while to learn how to do it, but once you nail it, it's like a cheat code for just vibe. Anyway. And that's basically it. Like, I could go through some of these samples, like the Flutie Boy, which if you remember what track this comes from, good on you. This one isn't really. No, it's not, because that doesn't do anything. It's the other one. Not that one. What is this one? The tea time chords. So this one is like kind of on grid. Chopped it up. Again, it's accenting the big beats mostly. But when you accent those big beats, the small beats, the swung beats, have even, like, they breathe even more. So I changed the groove. Bling, da, da. Yeah. So all together you'll get. Actually, I bounced this whole thing. That's why it sounds so loud. Yeah, and like the little accents, like the da da da, like the little cuts that feel like they should keep going, but I chopped them before the next section. All that builds on top and makes the groove what it is. If something in there was off or loose or not swung correctly, it would not work. It wouldn't work. So yeah, remember that. Swing everything. Make sure you're meticulous. All right. If it doesn't have to be bang on robotically, like to the grid. You can have a little bit of flexibility in there, like millisecond wise. But more or less, everything's following the same blueprint, and using your ears, you find what feels right. Not what looks right, what feels right. All right? So that's swing 101. If I do 102, we'll go into more niche situations, which I wrote about in a little article. If you flip over there, article, it's on Patreon. But yeah, you can combine different percentages and stuff like that for different effects, rhythmic effects. Yeah, swing is kind of painful because if you try and blend it like in a mix with a track that doesn't, you can get like that, you know, horse racing sound, which is fine. Just mix it quickly and move on. But yeah, something to keep in mind. Anyway, again, Patreon's always first. If you want to see these videos ahead of time, think about becoming a subscriber. It's a whole lot of stuff. Definitely become a community, a member of BSA, Bad Snares Anonymous. We're doing a whole lot of stuff this year, whenever you see this, 2023. And I'd love you to be a part of it. So yeah, till next time, I'm Winslow, and catch you later.